World Wide Web, Lew Dub here with the world's most best English language Japan Cup preview. The 2023 Japan Cup is headlined by Equinox. The 4-year-old Entire is currently on a 5-race winning streak, which includes a win in the Dubai Shima Classic earlier this year. The other big name and major contender is 3-year-old filly Liberty Island. She recently took out the Japanese Fillies Triple Crown, which included a win in Tokyo over the very same distance as the Japan Cup. Okay, that's the intro. This preview will include a runner-by-runner preview and a good look at the track layout. But first, let's take a look at the full field and their respective odds. And yes, I am having a drink of Sapporo. I'm just trying to get into the spirit of things. I've already done the form, so rest assured, I was sober.
Here's that look at the full field. We've got 18 runners. Equinox and Liberty Island, clear-cut favourites. Liberty Island from barrier 1, Equinox from barrier 2. Keep in mind Liberty Island is just 3-year-old. She'll be running around with 4 kilograms less than Equinox. Now, the third favourite, Stars on Earth, she's been very unlucky. She's got number 17 barrier. Fourth favourite, Deuce, jumps from number 5, so things have worked out well for him. Now the weather. For those hoping for a downpour or deluge, the forecast from AccuWeather will disappoint you. A 1% chance of precipitation on Sunday and very little chance on the days leading up. We start with Liberty Island in barrier 1 and the number 1 saddlecloth. The saddlecloth bears the same number as the barrier gate they jump from in Japan. And this 3-year-old filly has been a sensation in the juvenile division this year, taking out the Fillies Triple Crown. And that Triple Crown includes a win at Tokyo over the same distance as the Japan Cup. She's got Japan's premier homebred jockey on board in Yuga Kawada, and she's beaten all before her with something to spare. So if the favourite is just a little below his best, she'll be the one to make him pay. Equinox. He's ranked number 1 in the world of horse racing, according to Longines. Last year, he exploded onto the scene with a win in the Tenno Show Autumn and the Iresine. That's Group 1 as a 3-year-old, and since then, he's taken all before him, smashing them up in the Dubai Shima Classic, where Westover was 3.5 lengths behind him, and Mostadaf about 7.5. He returned to Japan and won the Takarazuka Kinen in June. Wow, was he ridden arrogantly in that one. And in his last start, Equinox once again demolished his rivals with a convincing win in the Tenno Show Autumn. And note, the 2,000 metre Tenno Show Autumn has been the key lead-up race for Japan Cup winners, providing 9 of the last 16 winners. Number 3, Titleholder, a fan favourite. Loves to get out in front and dictate. That format was working a treat for him until he travelled to France and hit a bog track, finishing 11th in the Arc and then 9th when returning to Japan in the Iresine. But just when I thought it was time to write him off, he returned in March of 2023 with a win in the Group 2 Nikkei Show over 2,500 on soft ground. Then he had a big fail in the Tenno Show Spring. He and African Gold got caught up in a frantic front-running duel, and all they succeeded in doing was cannibalising one another. That was in April. Then he came back to the track in September for a Group 2 over 2,200 metres. He went out favourite and was beaten 1.25 lengths. Can't discount Titleholder, but I've got a feeling Panthalassa may cause the same problems for Titleholder as African Gold did in the Tenno Show Spring. Number 4, Studley. The fact that this 5-year-old's biggest win to date was a 3 wins only conditional race is enough of an indicator that he's out of his depth here. He tried his hand at Group 2 back in January and could only manage a 6th place. More recently, he was 8th at Group 3 level over 2,000 metres in August. Don't do it. Number 5 is Deuce. He's the Derby winner from 2022. He's actually the last horse to beat Equinox, denying him the Japanese Derby. However, these two have had contrasting stories since that race. Equinox unbeaten, Deuce 1 win from 5. He's still well liked in Japan, 4th pick. He did win earlier this year in the Group 2 Kyoto Kinen, and after 7 months off the track due to a disappointing result in Dubai, he was 7th in the 2,000 metre Tenno Show Autumn. What concerns me is he was second favourite for the Tenno Show Autumn. He faded, well beaten in the straight. Maybe the locals have a bit of affection for him having won the Derby. I can't buy into him, despite the booking of one of Japan's top 5 jockeys in Keita Tosaki. Forward again. Only once has he run at this distance. It was actually 2,500 metres to be accurate, but he failed miserably, running 14th of 18. And he's run in Group 3 and Group 2 races with his best outcome a 4th in the Group 3 Niigata-Kinen over 2,000 metres back in September last year. Yeah, I can't get interested in him. Number 7 is Iresine, the French raider. The 6-year-old is one of only 2 geldings in the race. I'm a bit perplexed at the nomination of Iresine, as he's never raced on a good to firm track in France. And in fact, his only race on good ground was back in 2021, and then in the Group 2 Prix Foix, he was 3rd to a horse called Deep Bond. He is a Group 1 winner. He's a regular Group 2 winner from 2,400 metres to 3,100 metres, but there's enough evidence to say this is the wrong race. One example, his 2 races in April earlier this year. On good to soft, he ran 2nd to Simca Mill over 2,000 metres in the Prix de Harcourt. Then he beat Simca Mill over 2,100 metres in the Prix Gannet on very soft ground. Finally, I have a quote from his trainer earlier this year, Jean-Pierre Gauvin, after Iresine won the Prix Gannet. He said, "He has wonderful acceleration and he goes on most ground apart from when it's really firm." Strange. Maybe they know something we don't, but yeah, it's hard to buy into him. Number 8 is Panthalassa, trained by the all-conquering Yoshido Yahagi, who famously brought Lys Gracieux to Australia to win the Cox Plate and Loves Only You to win the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mares. As for Panthalassa, he's had 2 trips to the Middle East in the last 2 years and won lots of money. In 2022, he won the Dubai Turf over 1,800, and in 2023, he won the Saudi Cup over 1,800 metres on the dirt. Now, he was 10th in his last start, also on dirt, the Group 1 Dubai World Cup. But let's say we scratch that race, he's still got some questions to answer around distance. The 6-year-old has just once gone 2,500 metres and failed in the 2021 Arima-Kinen. His racing style is pretty inflexible. He'll usually lead or damage his chances trying. Number 9, Vela Azul. This 6-year-old Entai is the defending champ, who's virtually fallen off a cliff since his win last year. 10th in the Group 1 Arima-Kinen, 13th of the dirt in the Dubai World Cup, 8th in the Group 1 Takarazuka Kinen, and more recently 7th in the Group 2 Kyoto Daishoten. Leading up to last year's Japan Cup win, he won the Kyoto Daishoten, so it's hard to see him repeating the dose, particularly when you consider we have definitely got a stronger field this time. If you want to make a case for him, you could say that he's being reunited with Ryan Moore for the first time in 12 months, and you could say he's 7th in the Kyoto Daishoten this year was due to the yielding track conditions. Maybe a chance for a minor placing. And Cup circuit. The runners will start in the home straight and have a 350 to 400 metre dash to the first bend. From there it's 2 long arcing turns and onto the 525 metre home straight. Number 10, Danon Beluga. He started this race as second favourite last year but could only manage 5th. He actually loomed up and took the lead in the home straight only to fade. Some may say he had excuses as he was 4 wide most of the trip, what was a rare, slowly run Group 1 in Japan. Since then, he's won the Group 1 Dubai Turf over 1,800, but returned to Japan for a 4th in the Group 2 Sapporo Kinen and 4th in the Tenno-Sho Autumn. I get the feeling 2,400 is not the right race for him. On the bright side, he's got superstar jockey Joe Moreira on board. Mind you, he rode Danon Beluga for his last 3 starts as well. Number 11 is Trust Kenshin. He will go around for his second Japan Cup. He was 13th in last year's edition. His only race since last year's Japan Cup was the Group 3 Diamond Cup over 3,400 metres, where he came 11th. The owners should have a nice day being in the good seats on one of Japan's biggest race days. Number 12 is Chestnut Coat, a 9-year-old horse, still running around after 60 race starts. I wrongly stated in my previous video that he'd been off the track between 2020 and 23. He was simply off the turf and racing on dirt. He had about 30 races on the dirt in that time and won just once. He can't win here. Kurino Megami Ace. Every year there's a dirt track specialist running around in the Japan Cup. This year it's 4-year-old Kurino Megami Ace. And note, his jockey is usually riding on Japan's regional tracks, hence his good stats. Looking through the stats or the history of Kurino Megami Ace, his race pattern is pretty versatile, but his best moments have been when he leads. Now, the fact he's only raced on grass once for a 9th of 9 back in 2021 is not the only issue. He's also never raced beyond 1,870 metres. You can't win, but you might see him near the front over the first 1,400. Number 14 is Deep Bond, and just a reminder that helmet colours will differ to what's shown on screen. It's all based on the barrier assigned to them. Well, anyway, Deep Bond, I had written him off late last year after he failed in France and then finished well back in the Iresine, but he has definitely bounced back this year, finishing second in the 2-mile Tenno Show Spring and 5th in the 2,200 metre Takarazuka Kinen, then 3rd in the Group 2 Kyoto Daisho 10 on yielding ground recently. He's got regular jockey Yuji Wada on, and he's certainly one to throw into exotics. Can he win? I don't think so. I'd actually say this guy should try his hand at our humble 2-mile handicap, the Melbourne Cup. Number 15 is Shonan Bashito. His last win was back in March when he was racing at listed level. Since stepping up to Group 1 and Group 2 level, he's done no better than 8th, and that's at age restricted level. On the bright side, owners will have a nice day and no doubt pick up some little souvenirs for having run in the Japan Cup. Number 16, Impress, in similar silks to Deep Bond, but with the pink cap. He's only had the 13 starts, this 4-year-old, but whenever he's stepped up to the group or listed level, he's been beaten pretty convincingly. He did have a 3rd in the Group 3 Niigata Kinen in September, and his next start failure was on yielding ground. So if you want to include a roughie in your exotics, you could leave the door open for him. Number 17 is Stars on Earth. She's 3rd favourite. She's been cruelled by the barrier, but it's been more than 12 months since she ran over 2,400. She is only 4. She was the Oaks winner of 2022, picking up 2 legs of the Fillies Triple Crown. This year she's had 2 starts for a 2nd in the Group 1 Osaka High and 2nd in the Group 1 Victoria Mile at Tokyo. She's got Norwegian-born English jockey William Buick on board, and she has won over this exact track and distance when she won that 2022 Oaks. Yeah, definitely got to put her in your exotic bets. Finally, we get to number 18, Win Erfolg. Yeah, he seems to be making up the numbers. He's yet to race at group or even listed level. This is not a handicap, so he's not going to magically become competitive. Win Erfolg will be ridden by the JRA's pioneering female jockey, Nanako Fujita. A good experience for her, but it wouldn't matter what jockey is on board. This horse is not winning.
Well, that's my Japan Cup preview. I hope that's made things a little bit clearer for you. On screen now, you can see my recommendations. Alright, if you're wondering how I got some of the images in the background for today's preview, well, I was in Japan a little bit earlier this year for a lengthy spell. I visited a couple of racetracks, including Niigata and Kyoto. Niigata is in the north of Japan. I was actually planning on putting a video together detailing my exploits there at the track, but I've just been a little bit short of time. One thing I will show you is these souvenirs, which the JRA does really well. Look at these. Picked up a coffee mug, a little clipboard. You can purchase little key rings, stuffed toys, t-shirts. They really do their racing souvenirs very well, the JRA, and it's definitely a place where Australian racing could improve. Take a leaf out of their book. Also, if you get a chance to travel to Japan, I must recommend the umeshu drink, which, if you're into spirits, I'm not particularly endorsing any brand. I was able to enjoy some umeshu that was homemade while I was over there. So if you get a chance to travel to Japan, please make sure you enjoy a bit of umeshu, and also I hope you enjoy the Japan Cup. Check the odds, pick a winner.
Now it's easier than ever to have band.video on your iPhone. Simply go to band.video with your Safari browser. Then you click the share button at the bottom of the screen. When the menu comes up, you simply click Add to Home Screen. It will then ask you to name the app. I suggest band.video. You will now have band.video app on your home screen, despite the fact that Tim Cook tried to stop it. The globalists think you're lazy, but by taking a little bit of action, you can override them, have the app, and then tell others about it so they can get the app. So it's up to you whether you want to defy big tech and click the share buttons below on your email, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, however you want. Be sure and share band.video.
Go to hell, New World Order.